The 1980s, leg warmers, cassette tapes, and one of the best decades for toys. So grab your slap bracelets and parachute pants and let's count down the top 9 toys that a young lad like myself would have wanted in the 80s.
Number 9. Strawberry Shortcake Doll.
Released in 1979, but her popularity carried well into the 80s. I know what you're wondering, what a young lad like myself was doing with the Strawberry Shortcake Doll. But the real question is for you, have you ever smelled one? Because if you haven't, I can tell you what Heaven's Bakery smells like. I can describe to you the gentle bouquet of an angel's hair. I can tell you the scent of eternal bliss wrapped in nirvana. I miss her so much. Whatever's in that chemical compound is not meant for mortal men.
Smell it. Smells nice.
Number 8. Stretch Armstrong.
Another example of a toy released in the late 70s but remained iconic and in high demand well into the 80s. If you don't know, Stretch Armstrong was a stretchable action figure made of a latex rubber-like material filled with a gel-like substance. The toy became famous for its ability to stretch to several times its original size and then return to its original form. It was also well known for the clotheslining and attempted hog tying of younger siblings.
There are moments in life when a man has got to do what a man has gotta do.
Number 7. The Hot Wheels Turbo Track set.
Was an electrifying racing experience around a track filled with thrilling loops, jumps, and twists, with its high-speed action and interactive elements, such as turbo boosters and crash zones. And not a single kid who owned this kept the original track configuration together for longer than 15 minutes before creating jumps over toilets and dogs and gas stove elements. So many brave drivers lost for the cause.
Number 6. Cabbage Patch Dolls.
Alright, listen, Tim Tuffies, about to light me up for having another doll on this toys list. I was 4 years old when the 80s started, and yes, I had a Cabbage Patch doll. Everybody did. He was one of the almost bald ones. His name was Barry Burt. I didn't get to pick it. You better not say a goddamn word about Buster Barry Burt. He was my best friend.
Did you see anything? No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again. Good!
Number 5. Castle Grayskull.
The iconic playset from Masters of the Universe, or otherwise known as He-Man's crib. I know He-Man was very popular and Grayskull was in high demand. I was just never really a He-Man guy. Never really could get into the whole Karen haircut, steroid abusing, stuff my junk into a squirrel bikini vibe. And if you still don't have doubts, Google He-Man Fisto episode. You might have some questions.
Number 4. Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime was by far the coolest of the Transformers. Firstly, his iconic design as the leader of the Autobots. Secondly, there isn't another Transformer that comes even close in terms of recognizability from a non-fan. Thirdly, Optimus Prime's character embodies noble leadership, selflessness, and courage. And finally, he was the only Transformer I could actually transform. That's not a joke. He was the only one. Poor fine motor skills. Roll out.
Number 3. The Nintendo Entertainment System.
The Nintendo Entertainment System, released in 1983, revolutionized home gaming with its iconic gray box design and introduced players to classic titles like Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, Duck Hunt, Contra, Punch-Out! And yes, Sega Genesis did arrive in 1988, but its big titles didn't really hit till the 90s. In terms of overall pop culture impact and long-time title gaming success, Nintendo by a long shot has outperformed its Sega counterpart.
That's wild. Just dawned on me right now.
Number 2. The Millennium Falcon.
If you had to name a flagship toy in the Star Wars fleet, the Millennium Falcon was unquestionably it. Countless hours I spent running up and down the hallway of our small townhouse, carrying Han and Chewie's space bucket, making rocket sounds while dodging and weaving through squadrons of TIE fighters, until the point my father got so annoyed he threatened not to put wieners in the next batch of Kraft dinner. But we all knew there would be wieners. There was always wieners.
Number 1. G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, the USS Flag.
This absolute beast measured over 7 feet long, and the aircraft carrier came complete with a flight deck, command tower, elevators, radar antennas, missile launchers, and a deck crew. This was by far the most wanted and treasured toy of my generation. And there it was, one Christmas morning. Me and my brother just standing there speechless, with tears running down our cheeks. How could this be? We didn't deserve it. We were for sure on the naughty list. This must be a mistake. But it wasn't. It was real. And it only meant one thing, that my dad loved me more than your dad loved you.
You sure about that?
But looking back now, I only think of 2 things. 1, my dad was awesome. Number 2, the absolute record amount of cursing and floor punching that must have taken place as my dad tried to assemble this thing for the 3 days before Christmas. Why am I assembling this stupid f***ing aircraft carrier for these brat kids? They don't even deserve a goddamn fishing boat. Here I am sweating my ass off to 3 o'clock in the morning, can't find a f***ing piece, can't see bullshit. Merry Christmas, my ass.